This video is brought to you by shirts. Shirts! I have them now. Hello and welcome to the top 10 seasonal characters on Bleach Brave Souls. And what a year for seasonal characters it has been. With so many great characters coming out in the last 12 months, it was really hard to actually make this list, as I really wanted to include a lot more characters, but unfortunately we can only go with 10 and a few honorable mentions. With that said, let's begin. Starting off the list, we have the swimsuit edition of Orihime Inoue. She's got a really high attack, as well as a plus 40 bruiser, and a full stamina damage link, essentially making it a plus 60 bruiser if her health is at full, which shouldn't be that big of an issue considering her strong attack 2 is a barrier move. But that's not all the link does, as it also increases the damage of her strong attacks by 20%, effectively increasing her strong attacks by 50% when her health is full, as well as her special. Speaking of which, she also has Bombardment, making her special extra powerful. And considering it also inflicts weakened defense, you may want to think twice about actually chapping this character. And it's not just her special. Her strong attack 1 has a 180% mag, which when you have the equivalent of what is a 50% berserker, can actually do a decent amount of damage. It also helps keep enemies away from you, so you can continue to do damage from a distance. All of this make Orihime a really good character to auto with, and a great character for any PvE, especially since she has the Soul Reaper killer, which right now is the best killer to have, and there's no killer that's good against her since she's a human.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, hoo 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 hoo. Tsuki no akari de choppi ga mauru no da!
Next on the list we have the Christmas version of Rukia Kuchiki, who has one of my favorite specials of all time. That aside, she is still a great character, despite being almost a year old at this point. She's got a really high SP as well as Frenzy, and can inflict debilitating freezing on her normal attacks, strong attack 1, strong attack 3, as well as her special. This character actually shares some similarities to Orihime before her, in that they both have a full stamina damage link of 20%, and both their strong attack 2s are barrier moves. Still, Rukia has the advantage of having debilitating freezing on just about everything else, and for that reason I did put her above Orihime on this list.
退屈な戦いだったぜ。入れるシャッター。そこで寝てろ。
Coming in at number 8 is Noitora Gilga, a character I actually didn't expect to see in the seasonal this year, as K-Lab really likes to put female characters in seasonals instead of male characters. So it was a nice surprise to see not one but two different male characters for the Parasol summons, and one of those two was Noitora, who has a really high SP as well as Frenzy and a piercing normal attack, which is useful considering all of his normal attacks and his strong attacks have a chance to inflict debilitating burn, which is amazing when you have this strong attack 1 that this character has, because not only does it have a 180% mag, but it hits a crazy amount of times, partially because it shoots 3 projectiles, and the other part is because it has Frenzy. This rapidly increases the combo, and used correctly, has a really high chance of inflicting burn. But it's not just his strong attack 1 that's good, as his strong attack 3 is a charge move that doubles in strength when fully charged, and has a really wide reach. Combine this with the fact that he has a strong attack recharge link, and you can just spam burn the enemies until they drop dead, which is actually a pretty useful strategy in specific Senkaimon rooms that have all bosses with a lot of health and not a lot of options. Finally, we have this character's special, which is guaranteed to inflict debilitating burn as well as weaken the enemy's defense, effectively dealing more damage and leaving them with serious burns afterwards. Up next is the Halloween version of Yachiru, who has a really high attack, as well as a Nad Link, and a 40% bruiser, as well as Berserker. As far as normal attacks go, she has one of the best ones in the game, with each one of her attacks hitting more than once, and with the ability to inflict debilitating confusion. This can actually increase her combo by a lot using just her normal attacks. That said, her strong attacks are also useful, especially her strong attack 2 that's a crawling vortex move. It pushes enemies away, and also helps increase the combo. Now unfortunately, this character isn't that great of a PvP character, otherwise she'd be a lot higher on the list, as confusion is a lot more useful in PvP than it is in PvE, since PvE enemies are usually really easy to take out or knock over. Still, it does have its uses, and it's not the only useful thing this character has, as she's also resistant to 2 status ailments. This character cannot burn or freeze, making her actually really useful to auto with, and really useful in inheritance zones, droplet zones, and extreme co-ops. Not to mention the confusion is bound to be useful there too.
せっかくの祭りじゃもっと楽しめ
Next up on the list is Yoruichi Shihoin, whose usability actually skyrocketed since last year at this time. Not that she wasn't useful last year, but with the addition of Senkaimon, as well as guild quests, she has become a character that you would be stupid not to 200. For one thing, she has a really high attack. She also has a boosted 25 Natlink and a plus 40 bruiser, so she's pretty guaranteed to deal a decent amount of damage with a normal attack. The reason she's so special is because she can inflict debilitating paralysis on all of her strong attacks and her special, and while there are other characters that can do this, she's special because her strong attack 2 is a vortex move, which surrounds her, doubling as a shield, and hitting a ridiculous number of times, almost guaranteeing the paralysis effect, making her really good for autoing, and exceptionally good in some of the Senkaimon quests, where you cannot afford to be hit by the boss's special, since it would give you 7 extra seconds to attack, or to run away from them before they get a chance to use the special. Speaking of running away, she's also really good at that, as she has extended flash steps, as well as long strike, allowing her to be able to move from one side of the room to the other in an instant. And I'll let you guys decide the different modes of this game that would be useful in, because there are a lot, and going into detail on that would take way too much time.
ハロウィンナイトだ 私の音色に溺れる
Coming in at number 5 is the character that hates me. Of course, I'm talking about Hallibell, the Halloween version to be exact, as there's a lot of seasonal Hallibells. But out of all of them, she is the only one that's attack based, and she's got a really high attack. Not only that, but she's also got a 50% bruiser, allowing her to deal even more damage, while also being able to take damage as she has a 16% damage reduction soul trait. Combine that with the fact that she has debilitating paralysis on all of her strong attacks as well as her normal attack, and you got yourself a really good character to auto with, and also a decent character to PvP with, as she has a Soul Reaper killer, and she's also got poise. And while she does have a really high attack, her strong attacks don't go to waste. She may not have that high of an SP, but they do hit a decent amount of times, and as I mentioned before, they can all inflict debilitating paralysis, which is useful especially for her strong attack too, because it hits so many times, and it has a 180% mag. And because she has poise, these strong attacks cannot be stopped, unless of course you kill her, freeze her, or paralyze her. Oh wait, you can't paralyze her because she's completely immune from paralysis, so really just the other two. They really did a great job with the first Nat Hallibell, and even though she's the only Nat Hallibell so far, she still has one thing in common with the other Hallibells. They all hate me.
退屈だぜ。てめえは楽しませてくれるんだろうな。
And now it gets really difficult because the following 4 characters are all monsters, some of them quite literally. And the first of those 4 is Grimmjow Jaggerjax, who, as of this recording, has the highest SP for any tech character in the game, officially beating out Kisuke Urahara by 4 points. Grimmjow also has a strong attack damage link, so his strong attacks are actually gonna do more damage than any other tech character so far. Grimmjow also has Frenzy, and all of his strong attacks as well as his normal attack have a chance to inflict debilitating weakening. And he has some pretty useful strong attacks as well. His strong attack 1 is a lunge move, his strong attack 2 is a hybrid vortex move that gathers enemies in one spot before hitting them with one final strike, and his strong attack 3 is a full screen attack. Grimmjow is also the first tech character to have a no affiliation killer, and this could be a good and bad thing depending on how you look at it. For one thing, it is rare for a character to have this, so having one in your arsenal is certainly helpful. But on the other hand, you're also less likely to encounter these enemies. So look at it whichever way you'd like. Either way, there's no denying that Grimmjow is one really powerful character. Honestly, the decision between Grimmjow and Rukia was very tough. They are both really high SP characters with frenzy and debilitating weakening on everything. Not to mention they both have the same killer of no affiliation. But while Grimmjow's SP is a little bit higher, I still had to go with Rukia, as she was the human character, and at the time of this recording there is no character with a human killer, and you will never encounter human killers in inheritance zones or droplet zones. Rukia also has a strong attack recharge link, and for a character with a debilitating status ailment, this is the thing you want, since it allows you to spam your strong attacks and gives you a higher probability of inflicting the status ailment since you use them a lot more frequently. In addition to that recharge link, Rukia also has a really good strong attack 1. It hits a ridiculous amount of times and it has a 180% mag. This strong attack has a really high chance of inflicting debilitating weakening. Finally, to top it all off, Rukia's completely immune from freezing, so that's just one less thing to worry about, and one really good advantage depending on the situation you're in.
世はすべてこともなし。いさかいはこの風で吹き消してやろう。
Next on the list is the newest iteration of Rukia Kuchiki, who at the time of this recording has the highest SP out of any power character, officially beating out Ukiura. This Rukia is a really well made character. In addition to that high SP, she also has frenzy and can inflict debilitating burn on all of her strong attacks, as well as her normal attack and her special. But it would be one thing if she just had that. This character also has amazing crowd control. Her strong attack 1 has a 180% mag and is similar to manga Kisuke's, as it hits multiple times and pushes enemies away. Her strong attack 2 is a crawling vortex move that rapidly increases the combo, pushes enemies away, and has a high chance of inflicting burn. And her strong attack 3 is a hybrid vortex move that's on the level of Kokuto's, where it gathers enemies in one spot before hitting them with a final strike. All this while having a piercing normal attack and a special that not only burns the enemies but also leaves them with a weakened attack. She is truly a really well made character. Unfortunately though, this one doesn't sing. Now before I move on to number 1, here are a few more characters that are absolutely mind-blowing, and I totally wish I could have put them on this list, as they are all still top tier characters.
こっからがお楽しみだよ。それ。
水の戦いで私に勝てるとでも思ったか。そこで永遠に夏を。
これはプレゼントだ。僕と一緒にいよう。ずーっとね。
まだ大人の味には早かったかな。少し甘くしてやろう。処理がなかったので、これで解決。
ほな、行くで。逃げても無駄や。僕の炎はしつこいで。
Now, I'm no Gin fan. That's not to say I don't like him. I'm just not crazy about him like everybody else who plays this game. Still, I recognize a good character when I see one, and this Gin is absolutely incredible. At the time of this recording, he has the second highest SP for a speed character, and much like most of the characters on this list, also has frenzy. Unlike the characters on this list though, Gin is a healer, which is one of the main reasons he got number 1. Healers are a very important part of this game, especially in co-op or some of the tougher stuff like inheritance zones and droplet zones, and it makes this character a team player. That said, he's still devastating on his own, as his heal move also deals damage and the rest of his attacks all have a chance to inflict debilitating burn. Not to mention that they all have really good range too. Even his normal attack is ranged and piercing. Gin also has a strong attack recharge link, which is the best possible link for a healer to have, and he's got a Soul Reaper killer, which is his best killer for anybody to have. And in addition to all of this, the art style for this character and the character's attacks is incredibly detailed and extremely well made. And I didn't really factor that into the character's position on the list, it's just something that I really wanted to applaud K-Lab for. Maybe now they'll give me Holly Bell. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for some more top 10 lists.